Welcome back, everybody. It is time for the U.S. to make certain moves in the board. They're actually responsible for not only the revolutionaries now in Mexico, but also those Bulgarians. And we got a couple of attacks to make. The first of which is we're going to, well, first of all, we're going to purchase Lend-Lease of 3 IPP, 1 revolutionary for the East, revolutionaries in Mexico. And these 3 infantry, plus this cavalryman, are going to go down and attack in Oaxaca. And there's 2 infantry in defense down there. So it's only 1 round. I have 3 infantry that are brown. Now I keep getting reminded about terrain modifiers because I'm fallible too, and I had forgotten about the desert terrain for Hijaz, but we're good down here. We got clear terrain. That's one of the reasons I'm going after it. I've got 3 infantry brown and cavalry is yellow, and he has 2 infantry in defense. So they defended a 4. I attack at a 2 and a 3 for the cavalry. And 1 round. It's winter. It's cold, even in Mexico. Let's see what happens. A lot of mountains down there. So he gets 1 hit. I have no hits. So I lose an infantryman out of eastern Mexico. But, you know, I purchased a Lend-Lease, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave him. And I'm going to put the cavalryman in eastern Mexico. So disposition of forces, pretty simple. 1 still in Veracruz, 1 infantry, 2 infantry in the cavalry in eastern Mexico, and Cahula, there's 2 infantry. So that was pretty simple. And the next one, I just want to show you on my Balkan mini-map. I have 5 Bulgarian infantry and artillery, and he in eastern Macedonia, pretty crowded, 2 infantry and a militia. So we're going to start by rolling an artillery. Now, this is Macedonia, mountainous terrain, so everything is down by 1. So artillery at a 3. And that is a miss. I have 5 infantry. 1 is upgunned, so the upgunned is going to be at a 2. Everyone else is at a 1. The upgunned is black, and that is all misses. And in his response, so he's got 2 infantry and a militia. The militia is going to be brown. Infantry is black, and he gets, that is cockeyed. Okay, so he gets 1 hit. So I lose 1 infantry out of Bulgaria. That's a pretty easy disposition of forces for anybody who's tracking it. That leaves 4 infantry and artillery, 2 militia in Bulgaria. Everybody else is the same. So let's roll my recruitment. My recruitment for the Mexican Revolution, 1, 2, 3 territory, so 4 doesn't cut it. And Bulgaria, got to get a big old 1. And of course not. So we do not get that. Now, guess what? We've delivered our Lend-Lease. The Americans collect 3 IPP. Gray in the west, brown in the east. Let's see what the random events. Now there's some real significant ones here. So this could be something else. So 3 in the west, 5 in the east. 3 in the west, 5 in the east. My apologies for all right. 3 in the west. All right, so spring 1913, west. War preparations. Nations may purchase land units for reserves in 1913. So that's 3 turns. Okay? And they may do technology up to stage 2. So that is the random event for spring of 1913 in the West. So land units going into reserves for just calendar year 1913 and technology research up to stage 2. All right. And, oh, this one's not going to be helpful to me. The German steamer Ypringa arrives in Veracruz with a cargo of arms. The Federals receive an infantry in Veracruz. So guess what? They don't have Veracruz. So if the U.S. occupies Veracruz, it must declare war through 1913. But guess who owns Veracruz? It is owned by the revolutionaries, and that situation is not addressed here. So interesting situation in that it says very clearly if a random event cannot be carried out, it is to be re-rolled, okay? And this random event clearly cannot be carried out. So I'm going to roll it, and if anybody disagrees, we can talk about that by text and correct the audience. So that is a 3 in the East. Alliance building. So this is very similar to what we just saw in the West. So alliance building, all major powers may influence minor powers to level 3 on the diplomacy chart. So the prequel limit was 2. It is now 3. And everybody gets a diplomacy roll in turn order. Now, we actually anticipated this, which is kind of funny. So I have a list from everybody. And the reason why it's important that the random event is actually dealt with first is because some of the role itself may be impacted by where the nation is on the diplomacy chart. So this actually must be resolved before everybody starts taking their turns, because if people start taking their turns and they pay for diplomacy in addition to this free diplomacy, it could have different consequences. So I am going to do it. Germany said they wanted to roll for the Netherlands. So Germany for the Netherlands. The Netherlands are currently in position, I think they're neutral. Yeah, they're completely neutral. And so we're going to roll for the Netherlands for Germany. And that's an 8. So that is no good. Now for the British also wanted to roll for the Netherlands. So that's why this is important to resolve now. And the British roll a 7. Austria-Hungary wants to roll for Bulgaria. Bulgaria is in their camp, so they can actually move them up. That's interesting. Because they're at level 2, they actually couldn't have rolled for them, except that this random event allows them to move up to stage 3. So let's see what happens. And that's a no good. You guys are going to regret me rolling for you. France is rolling for Romania. Same thing. They're at level 2. This moves them to level 3, which is only allowed because of this random event. 7 doesn't get it. The Ottomans are rolling for Romania. Now they have to roll a 2 or less. Look at that, a 9. So stick it, Brian. And then Russia is going for Sweden. Now Sweden is neutral. Let's see what we get. Sweden, a 10. All right, and then the U.S. is rolling for Brazil. And it's a 6. So failures all the way around. That's to be expected with the state of my rolling these days. So that gets us into the spring of 1913. The Italian-Turkish War is over. The Balkans Wars, First Balkan War will continue this turn and next turn, unless extended or artificially ended. All right, over to Germany.